Well, hello, Lyric Armstrong here, your real estate agent and advocate. Guess what? There is no sleep for the weary. Child, what the heck, or wicked, whatever the statement is. What is going on? We got the YSL hot potato case going on. Everybody just passing it. We have another recusal as if we need any more delays. So come on in, get comfortable, like, share, subscribe. Breaking news. And by golly, let's figure out what is going on. Okay. So remember, Judge Glanville, he's chief judge, and he had his little setback. And I talked about it at length. Hopefully you've seen that video. If not, check it out, where we go through the first recusal of Judge Glanville. And I think it's more like for show. Like, we're recusing him, but we're washing his hands and cleaning his activity and just excusing away a great deal of what he was doing. But he got recused in the end on a technical note, according to the order. Well, there's a lot of technical notes. So here we are. Judge, I believe Ingram, this young lady, was assigned the case after it had been recused. So take note. Chief Judge Glanville ended up having about 3 or 4 motions to recuse set up against him. Consequently, they put it on the randomizer, and Judge Krause was the judge that took up the motion to recuse. They tried to get her to recuse herself from making such a decision. She declined that motion, but she granted the other motions that actually recused Judge Glanville. So he no longer can do anything on the case. So he's off the case, which, he might need to just go play golf for a minute, because y'all was working him all the way 100+ days. He was tired. And she made a whole lot of excuses for him. Like I said, it was a very cute love letter, 10 pages long, as far as I'm concerned, set of excuses and washing of his hands. But nevertheless, moving on, the randomizer happens again, and we get assignment to Judge Ingram. And Judge Ingram puts out this order today. I can't keep up with the case. Like, can we get a life? I have a life. Y'all have a life. We can't get a life. We are stuck in Fulton County Court because y'all got stuff every minute of the day. I know fast moving cases, but I've never seen a case where something is like every single day. Okay, so every single day, outside of being in the court. So this is filings every single day. This order of recusal was filed on today, the 17th, at 9:52 a.m. Shout out to Clerk Alexander. She, whomever this is, Clerk Alexander is working extremely hard for the YSL RICO Young Thug case that y'all got going on in Fulton County. Okay, on or about June 1st, 2023, somebody, Christian Eppeninger, hey, one of the 18 defendants. Wait a minute, do I have the wrong recusal? Hold on, this was today. Was served from the ongoing YSL RICO trial. Let's see where we go. Maybe I pulled up the wrong one, because I don't know what this one has to do with anybody, because he's not listed on the 6th. He's one of 18 defendants. Was severed from the ongoing YSL RICO trial on the criminal action that was recently transferred to court by random assignment. Although there is no there's no severance order in the record, the court was apprised of the circumstances that directly led to his severance. More specifically, the deputy assigned to and responsible for courtroom and personal security of the undersigned for nearly 6 months was arrested, said deputy, who was still assigned to his court at the time of her arrest. Wait. What? This is today, right? Today, 2024? Yeah, 2024. Okay. Said deputy, who was assigned to the court at the time of her arrest, is accused of 1, colluding with defendant Eppinger during the current trial to commit a felony, and 2, endangering the safety of citizens within the Fulton County Courthouse. And this is State of Georgia versus Akiva Stanley. Because this court's former assigned deputy could be called as a witness in any future proceedings in this case, the court may be called upon to assess the deputy's credibility or rule on matters related to her criminal prosecution. This may undermine the public's confidence in the impartiality of the proceedings. While the court does not regard the aforementioned situation as creating any actual bias for or against any party to this case, the court does view this as a matter that could cause a reasonable person to question the court's impartiality and reasonable, giving rise and reasonableness, giving rise to the appearance of impropriety should the court remain on this case. Okay, so I heard so the bird was singing. The birds were singing about this recusal, and I don't know if they were given like the inside tea, but that's not the tea in the order. So what they stated at the time was Judge Ingram is recusing herself because there's a personal romantic relationship between one of the deputies and one of the defendants. And so to some degree, that is what she's saying here. But when I first read it, I'm like, I don't know this defendant. So he's on the 8th. Okay, so Christian Eppinger is one of the 18 defendants. Y'all know I don't know this case. I'm trying my hardest. You know, I thought we would have a good time moving on because we had moved on from Glanville. No, it just won't stop. The hot potato just keep rolling. Every day something that's just hot, 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 and hot. Okay, so because of his Christian Eppinger's relationship, or I would say personal connection to the deputy of Judge Ingram, his case got severed. So he severed, as we said before, means it's set apart, it's cut, severed. Severed means cut, so that's obviously what the word means. So his case is separated out from his other co-defendants once upon a time. And so in that specification, the deputy that was assigned to and responsible for the courtroom and personal security for the judge, because the undersigned means the judge, because she's signing it, obviously you understand that, for nearly 6 months was arrested. So the deputy themselves was arrested. And it is alleged that that particular deputy who was once assigned was arrested due to the accusation of colluding with the defendant Eppinger during the trial to commit a felony and endangering the safety of citizens within the Fullerton County Courthouse. So the specifics of that particular indictment and allegations are not laid out here in the order, but consequently, since, you know, they was doing things and things were not supposed to be done that way, sorry, y'all, too fast. We got to the point where we are at Judge Ingram's recusal on today, July 17th, and she says, based on Rule 2.1 of the Georgia Code of Judicial Conduct, provides that judges shall disqualify themselves in any proceeding in which their impartiality might reasonably be questioned. And kudos to her for having the integral position to actually say, guess what? I have done nothing wrong, but there are things in the court space that may seem like something could affect my partiality. I don't see that it would, but just in the form of precaution, I'm going to go ahead and stand on Rule 2.1 and realize that things which may reasonably be questioned as a form of impartiality based on commentary number 2 to the rule provides that judges should disclose on the record or in open court information that the court believes the parties or their lawyers might consider relevant to the question of disqualification. That's what she did by expressing what happened with the deputy. Obviously, she's not trying to tell the deputy's business, even if it is public knowledge. She just has to disclose. And even if they believe there is no legal bias for disqualification. And so consequently, she has recused herself personally. No one has had to file a motion against her and bring anything to light. She's doing it all of her own volition based upon Rule 2.1 in the interest of justice, which is provided by comment number 2. So thus, after careful consideration and consistent with CJC Rule 1.2a, promoting public confidence in the independence and impartiality of the judiciary, and CJC Rule 2.11a, requiring disqualification when the public might reasonably question a judge's impartiality. The undersigned hereby recuses herself from the criminal action noted above, or whatever. The clerk of the court is directed to reassign this criminal action to another judge so ordered on the 17th day of July. Madam Honorable Shakira Ingram of the Superior Court of Fullerton County, Atlanta Judicial Circuit. So the clerk of the court said, I'm running out of judges. I don't know if they said that or not, but in a minute, they're going to say, in a minute, I'm going to need y'all to huddle up and pick one because I'm running out of judges. But as a result of that, it was, in fact, reassigned to this particular judge. And we have questions already. I don't know that this actually is a questionable impartiality concern because quite honestly, a lot of attorneys, if not every attorney, donates to various judges' campaigns. But the news on the street, because the streets is talking already, it's been only a few hours, and the streets are, blowing up about Madam Honorable Judge Paige Reese Whitaker, which I really love her name. I like that name, Paige Reese. Anyway, so Paige Reese Whitaker is noted to have, I think, well, Brian Steele is on here. There's some, I think it's, okay, hold on. Let me make sure, because I don't want to say the wrong one. Okay, so Brian Steele, Bruce Harvey, and David Botts, I believe, are on the, well, I know Brian Steele is, but I believe Bruce Harvey and David Botts are also representing the defendants in the YSL case. So some of the issue, the buzzing bees and stuff, like I said, the birds and the parrots, they out there talking, right? So Judge Glanville, the parrots are talking, they're parroting, they are talking. And what has come literally right after reassignment from Judge Ingram to now Judge Whitaker is the fact that in 2022, 3 of the noted attorneys have been a part of her reelection campaign. And it just says that, the criminal defense leaders to reelect Judge Page, hosted by these individuals, once again, Brian Steele, Bruce Harvey, David Botts, and other colleagues, as noted on the screen, on Monday, April 25th, 2022, 5:30 to 7:30 at Kevin Rathburn's Steakhouse or whatever in Atlanta. And it was a suggested 101. Okay, that's an interesting number. Usually round numbers, that must have meant something, 101. So it was suggested that $101 would be a donation to attend. That is the suggested donation. Okay, so we have breaking news. YSL is the new hot potato case. Nobody wanted to touch it, not with a 10-foot pole. But listen, people, for real, I'm making light of it, but we got to get this case done. Because there are jurors who have been working on this case for 100 days. That's over three months of time, but obviously they've done it for about a year, I guess, a year and a half. And someone needs to tell me, because I've never been on a jury, I don't think there's been a case that's been this long, but I've never been on a case this long. So someone needs to tell me, how do they pay their bills? How do they pay their mortgage? Is there any juror that's like stay at home, or are they all working jurors? And if they're all working, how does it work for Georgia? So in California, when you have jury duty, your employer has to hold your space for you. It has to do, they hold your job for you. They don't give it away. But obviously the rest of the office is running around trying to cover your shifts or your extra load or whatever. And it's like a couple days, one would think, It's 100 days where the employer's paying for your medical insurance and you're not clocking in hours, and they're paying overtime to others who have to, clock in extra time to do your shifts and your workload. And don't tell me the county pays, because the county pays something like $25, $15, depending on where you at. Like Baltimore is like $15, I think I heard. And I think Fullerton is somewhere like $20 or $25, something like that, a day. So $2,500 ain't gonna cut it for over a year's work. This is not gonna do it. It's not gonna. So what? You're gonna pay one car note, like 2 car notes? Like what do you mean? And in all actuality, truthfully and honestly, the case is bleeding money. It's 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 bleeding money. So I go back to the prosecution. Did you really have a case to begin with? Ask yourself, prosecution, do you really have a case? Do you have evidence that backs up your theory? Not rap lyrics, which is, freedom of speech, First Amendment speech. Not lying witnesses who proclaim that they lie all day and then turn around and say they did crimes, and not sure that, and then say did these crimes for which you won't let them identify the word these, so we can figure out if they're talking about the ones in this case or outside this case. Do you have an actual case? because you're bleeding money. We can't get a judge now. We over here round robbing the judges. Like, oh, I commend Judge Ingram and I thank her for having, like I said, the integrity to say, listen, I am of, no issue. I have impugnable reputation, but I do not want to give the appearance that something is afoot. So consequently, I bow out. Who was the other guy? Melnick. Melnick was like, I bow out. Okay. Like, yeah, there's just a time when you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, baby. Sometimes you just got to bow out. So big up to Judge Ingram. She bowed out quickly with the swiftness and on point. Look, yeah, sign that. Here you go. I'm good. And now Judge Page is in her court. Literally, the judge's court. Judge Page now has the ball. Will she be able to take the case? I don't know, because I don't think that people appearing or hosting and supporting her reelection is a impropriety, because that's what happens all across the nation. Attorneys do this all across the nation, and judges are attorneys before they are actually judges. So their relationships and connections that are there inherently, I think it's when it's over wrought, when it's over extreme, and it looks like it was just like $101. I'm pretty sure that's underneath the maximum. I don't even know what the maximum is, because typically you're talking about, well, for us in LA, you're talking about maybe a $500 to $1,000 campaign contribution, I guess, on average. Whereas I'm not sure what Georgia is doing in Fullerton County, but I don't think $100 is going to be beyond the maximum. And for which the last judge, Krause, what did he give her? 2,500. So he was like 2,000. So Judge Glanville had contributed around $2,000 to Judge Krause, and there was no mention of that being outside of the maximum. So there's a good indication that the maximum is not $100. Okay. So with that being said, I don't think that's going to disqualify her unless she wants it to. Unless she's like, me and Brian Steele, we're just the best of friends forever. We grew up together. He's like a brother to me. This is like, I have way too much familiar relationship. So I recuse myself, peace and bow out. That hasn't happened yet. That's just the forecast of what could be. But that is the news on the street. It is breaking. It is hot. It's hot, hot, hot. It's hot outside. The news is hot. The tea is hot. It's sweet, but it's hot, hot, hot. We got a new judge again. Yes, Khaled, it's another one. TJ Khaled is on the mic. It is another one. All right, Lyric Armstrong, your real estate agent and advocate. Since it is so hot out there, drink a little cold tea and a lot of water. Talk to you soon on the next video.